Hi everyone, Ben here from Sydney Fruit Gardening. Today I'm going to do a bit of a video on grafting. This is the time of year, it's mid-August in Sydney, and it's the time of year to do some grafting. So I graft up little apple trees, dwarf apple trees every year, and I usually graft up a couple of different varieties on them, so they are self-pollinating in a way where you've got 2, 3, even 4 or 5 varieties on the one tree, and they all pollinate each other. So there's a few things you need to do this. So if we just have a look here, the first thing is we've got our rootstock. So you can buy rootstock. Here's the supplier that I use here in Tasmania. You buy these in lots of 10. And here we've got 2 varieties. The lighter coloured variety is the M27, or the extra dwarfing rootstock. So this won't get bigger than maybe 5 foot. They also use this for step over apples, the tiny little hedge apples. And the good thing about this M27 is it's quick to fruit, and it fruits quite prolifically as well. So I'm a big fan of this M27. The other one though is the B9. B9 stock is dwarfing, so it's a size or so up from M27. Again, yeah, listen, it's a good stock. It probably gets to maybe 2 meters tall tops. Yeah, these you sort of place your order in advance, and then they arrive in the post from there. A few other things we're going to need, obviously our grafting tools, so a sharp grafting knife or pen knife, the secateurs, pen for writing a label. This is the buddy tape, so this is quite a flexible tape that you can use to tighten up the graft and protect it while it's healing. We've got some terps, which I've just put here. It's important when grafting, particularly given you don't know really, sometimes when you buy scionwood or you get it from friends, you don't necessarily know if that tree had diseases or what have you, and you don't want to sort of transfer that between different trees that you're working on. Some tape for the labels, garden twine just to tighten up the graft. So a few bits and pieces that we're going to need here, as well as, of course, our scionwood. So got quite a variety this year. So lots of different varieties, which I've just bought off another collector down in Victoria. So yeah, quite a few here. Different heritage apples. So I'll be grafting some of these up today, and I've got some more well-known varieties as well. So I'll probably do up a 3 grafted tree and show you the process for doing that. All right, everyone. So what I've got here is a rootstock of a B9. A B9 rootstock, so a dwarf rootstock. It actually hasn't got that many roots on, but I find that over time, once the spring and summer season gets going, the roots really start to take off in the pot. You can see it's not very straight. You can fix that. You can simply go like this. Sometimes you have to just be careful you don't go so far that you actually crack it. But if you just bend it, you can start to, it's actually quite flexible. And you can start to bend it a little bit back into shape, so you get a nice straight tree at the end of it. So that's a little bit better there. We're going to chop a bit of this off anyway. So I've got my secateurs here. They've been sitting in the mineral terps. We're going to be grafting on, this is probably the smallest scion, some gala. So what I'm going to do here is just check the diameter is roughly the same, and just see how low I can sort of go there. I generally find that I like the grafts a bit lower on the tree, so I'll just chop that off there. All right, honest. Okay. All right, so you'll see there at the end where the cutting was originally taken. Let's see if I can show you. It's kind of a little bit dead there. So you want to chop that off and get a nice green finish. You see that? That's nicer, isn't it? It's a live wood, so you know that you're dealing with something that's going to take. We're going to be doing some whip and tongue grafting today. I'll just show you how I go about that. So I'm going to cut away from myself like this. So I'll see how well I can do this with the camera right here. Right. So that's what that looks like there. Then we're going to cut a notch in about here. Okay, and you have to be careful here that you don't slip and cut yourself. So knife control is important. Best to wiggle and waggle the knife like so a little bit if you're new to this, just to maintain that control. Then we have a little slot like that. We're going to do the same process on the rootstock. Okay, so here's our rootstock. Quickest thing to do is just measure roughly how big your cut is on your signwood, compare that to your rootstock, and we're going to cut from there. All right, again, cutting away from myself, tie that up a little bit. The important thing here is that when you join it, you want the cambium layer, that's the green, a bit hard to see in this light, but see a little green section of the cut bark, if you will. So the outer layer, that's the alive layer of the tree, and that's what you need to join up on your rootstock. Okay, so rootstock here. The B9 is always got a little bit of a red tinge to the wood. That's okay, that's just the way it is. Now you don't actually have to join up both sides. So this one looks like it will probably match roughly on both sides, but you actually only need to get it to match on one side. So you're actually better when you're grafting to try and get a good match on one side rather than trying to get a poor or an okay match on both sides. You much better just get a really good match on one side. Now, I'm just going to trim this rootstock back a bit to make sure we marry up with the size of our cut here. And then I'm going to look. Again, what you want to do is try and see where your cut ends here and marry up. So you're looking for that part up here where it ends. Yeah, that's where you want to start your cut on here. So just where, see if I can show you there. So probably roughly there, roughly is where I'm going to start my cut for the opposing slot on the rootstock itself. Okay, have another look at that. It's quite high. This doesn't have to be exact, guys, but it's nice to try and get it to roughly marry up. All right, now we're going to see what it looks like. Needs a bit of tidying up. So let's see what we can do there. So sometimes when you insert the sign wood, you're not getting that nice match, and you just need to do a little bit of alterations potentially to your sign wood or to the cut on your rootstock to try and get that nice match. You're trying to look so there's no gaps in between. Now, that might not happen straight away. Sometimes what you'll have to do is to rely on tightening it afterwards. So after you've inserted it, you sometimes will need to come back and then just really tighten that joint up. All right, so look, this isn't perfect, but apples, look, it doesn't really, if you're doing it at the right time of year, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see if I can show you here. Now, if I just squeeze it together, you'll be able to see that that's relatively tight. Tighten that, it'll be a pretty good match. Next, I need to use my buddy tape. So you can see this is kind of stretchy stuff. And again, we're going to roll this around and try and get some pressure on that join. Sometimes it breaks like that, which is annoying, but okay. We'll do that again. It's really breaking quite a lot today, I don't know why. All right. And just to keep the pressure on it, I usually wrap a garden tie around it. Okay, so that's the first one done. That was Gala. Now we're going to do some cleft grafts onto the side. And we are going to go with some Fuji to start with. I've got my Fuji sign on here. So I'm just going to cut that. And here we're going to do the same sort of thing roughly. Okay. Then we cut a little slot in the same direction on the other side. Okay. All right, so you end up with something that looks like this. Okay, so I've got kind of a rough side there. I'll probably try and marry up that side, which is smoother, to the rootstock. Alright. So with the rootstock, we are going to cut down like this. Now, be careful you don't cut yourself. And that looks probably about right. You often then have to also do a little notch on top here. Oh goodness, the focus is very bad on this right now. Okay, so you do a little notch, you end up with something like that. You then slot in your, it's good to cut away these buds there sometimes that are in the way. slot this in and you look to see if it's straight. Now you can see there straight away. Maybe you can't. It's not a bad fit, but it needs some work. What we've ended up with. You can see on this side it's not matched, right? That's okay. That's okay. It just needs to match on one side. All right, we get our buddy tape again. And we do it up. I'll leave those on there. I think that's probably okay. Now we're going to do one more. We're going to do Granny Smith, guys. Granny Smith is an apple that's actually from this area. So we have the Granny Smith Festival here every year in Eastwood, a suburb not far from where I am, in the Ryde Council of Sydney. Discovered by Granny Smith herself when she threw some crab apples that had gone bad into her backyard, and apparently from that grew the famed Granny Smith tree. So got a bit of scion wood here. It's a bit rough, but it will do the trick. Okay. Once again, I'm going to follow that same process and make my cut. There we go. Then I'm going to do the same one on the other side. So that's what we've ended up with. All right. You can make the corresponding cut in the rootstock. So sometimes I like to sort of measure how far I need to go. Might do it like that. So I know roughly how far I have to cut. You've got to be careful here, guys, that you don't break the tree, break the rootstock as you're making your cut. You know, can happen. All right, let's go here. So this is what it's looking like right now. You can see there's a gap, so you can see just probably in front of where my finger's pointing now, that's where it needs to take a little bit more off the rootstock, just to free up that scion to rest neatly into that. All right. Okay. That side you can see there's still gap, but on this side, I think we're looking good. A little bit there, but if we push that down and apply some pressure with the garden tie, I think it'll be okay. Let me just try the other side. Three-way tree, grafted up. I'll just now pot it up and we're ready to go. Hopefully that's been useful for you, and yeah, get grafting. Catch you on the next video. All right, everyone, so we're back. We're going to check on how these grafts went on this little dwarf apple. So just as a reminder, these were done on the 28th of August. It's a Gala, Fuji and a Granny Smith. It's actually now 2 months later. It's the 29th of October. You can see that a couple of the grafts here have done all right. One of them though doesn't look so good, so we'll take those off and we'll just have a look. So alright, let's have a look here. So this one, this granny, doesn't seem like there's any sign of growth, but if I just scratch it, it's really green still, so I wonder if this one has actually healed, but for some reason just hasn't shot out yet. So let's take a look at these. I'm going to undo all of these first, then I'll cut off some of the tape. Bit of a delicate procedure, this. Alright, so healed on that side, but let's have a look at the other side over here. I think this is actually healed, to be honest. It just hasn't shot out growth yet, which is, look, my Granny Smith hasn't been shooting growth yet either, so it may be that this bit of wood's actually just dormant and it will shoot out growth a little bit later. But let's have a look at that graft union there. It looks okay. Yeah, it feels firmly in there, so we'll go check the other ones now. Okay, so we've got Gala at the top here. Let's just have a look at this graft. Okay, so that's the graft for Gala. You can see there that's healed nicely. I'll just go down here. Oh no, it's over here. This is the graft for Fuji. Okay, and so they're both healed pretty well. That's a whip and tongue graft up there. And these are the side cleft grafts down the bottom. Lots of nice growth up the top. On the Gala and the Fuji, we're just now waiting, I think, for this this one to kick off, and you can see there, as I showed you before, it's definitely got some green underneath, so I think it's still okay. There was a lot of scale on this particular bit of Granny Smith, so I just hope this one starts to take off shortly. And then we'll all be good. So there you have it, a triple grafted dwarf apple tree. Catch you on the next video.